Ladies and gentlemen, listen to this important clip about what we have going on in the stock market today in terms of interest rates, what the Fed is doing in terms of proceeding with caution going forward. And remember, we got Palantir Technologies earnings that will be reported tomorrow pre-market. Exciting times ahead of us. Let's get into it.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. As expected, the Fed decided to maintain its policy rate on hold. I don't think the Fed really came out to shock the markets. They are really waiting and wanting to proceed cautiously. Obviously, in the statement, as it was described, financial conditions have tightened in the economy, and they want to proceed cautiously.
All right, we have it right there, ladies and gentlemen. The Fed has decided what many analysts predicted and what everybody was predicting, for them to hold interest rates for longer at the steady rate. And what we have had in terms of report is economic times are starting to tighten. And this means that the Fed is proceeding with caution. Could this possibly be an end to interest rate hikes, as some are expecting at least one more hike before the end of the year? Only time will tell. Let's talk about what we have coming closer, and that is Palantir Technologies is set to report earnings tomorrow, November 2nd, pre-market before the bell. And lots of eyeballs are on this. We've been talking about this. And what we do have right now with Palantir is actually some buying pressure coming into the after hours. Palantir did well here on trading today, consolidating, holding that support zone. But what you see here is a lot of buying confidence coming in, closing at 14.92 by the market close, and actually up about 2% in the after hours, breaking that $15 level of resistance, trading right now at 15.21. Trading volumes at 54 million. We're going to be talking about Palantir, what we can expect for Q3 expectations, and also Palantir made a large bullish media announcement today in terms of a business decision as they've collaborated with a major company. We're going to be talking about this in just a moment. If you're new to the channel or a returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and I can't thank you guys enough for watching. Of course, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now, like we talked about, we quickly recapped Palantir's price. That was right now at 15.21. We're seeing some buying pressure coming in here. Will we have some buying pressure and influx in anticipation for those earnings to be reported? And we're going to see a lot of pre-market activity, especially, like I said, with those earnings coming pre-market. Now let's talk about what Palantir, everything you need to know ahead of or earnings for tomorrow. And that is looking at what the revenue expectations are. They're expecting Palantir's revenue growth to be 16.4% on the year over year, to a revenue estimate of 556.4 million. Now, talking about that, we are seeing earnings per share estimates right now at 6 cents, with that being increased 5 times in the last 90 days. We've had 5 earnings per share revisions in terms of the bullish direction. Now, talking about that, major analysts are really looking at Palantir and talking about what it's delivering top line growth, what is going to be, and also what we're going to see in terms of its guidance going into the next year. And Palantir, with that, they are competing against a tech sector that has actually been selling, and we've been seeing data analytics software that have also been selling at the same time. So with Palantir has been facing a lot of bearish selling pressure. Will this earnings be able to hold it, possibly trigger this reversal that we've seen in recent times, or bring you either better times or more sell-off going here in the future? Now, talking about their big announcement is that Palantir announces a new partnership with Calypso AI, and they have just recently announced this partnership. Talking about that, they've had a very busy year with partnership collaborations. We've seen this with the Department of Defense. That contract is worth about 250 million. We've seen their collaboration with PwC, and also we've seen them as the top bidder for that United Kingdom National Health Service contract worth about 479 million. This morning, Calypso AI announced that it had partnered with Palantir in order to use its FedStart program. Now, FedStart, what they do is they provide SaaS companies with a head start in providing services to the government, saving time and money during the process. So the fact that Palantir was able to get on this partnership with Calypso is great, because it has already worked with government entities in the past, including things like the US Air Force, Department of Homeland Security, and it still has decided to close this deal with Palantir Palantir to provide services through their accredited environment, which can help bring more government adoption. Now, this is great as Palantir, like I said, is highly in tune with the government, as that is the majority of their revenue maker. Now, talking about that, and with the 6 cents of the quarter that we're seeing for analysts, and with that 555.92 million, this will be a fourth consecutive closing for in terms of GAAP profitability, and will allow Palantir to fit the criteria for inclusion in the S&P 500 index. And what we're seeing here is that many predictors and analysts are predicting that Palantir is likely to beat the third quarter estimates, benefiting right now from the AI transformation that we really seen in 2023 and the soaring demand for its artificial intelligence platform. That's the AIP. And what we've talked about with the AIP bootcamp is that these customer numbers have not been yet captured in previous earnings reports. And considering last quarter, we saw a 38% year-over-year growth in terms of customer growth. Great to see there. And hopefully this number will be at least similar or higher compared to last quarter. This could bring a lot of bullishness coming into it, as customers are really the fundamentals of a business, especially considering that they are able to try this product for free through the AI bootcamp. But it is important to remember that Palantir is still fairly high valued. We've seen it already climb over 130% on the day. And in terms of that being said, we've seen many blue chip and even mega chip stocks that have actually beat their quarter expectations in terms of revenue and in terms of earnings per share, but have actually fallen in price. And this is why we're likely going to see a lot of volatility heading forward here. Palantir, in terms of the $16 strike call option, has seen an enormous amount of activity for expirations at about November 17th. What we saw was over 16,000 contracts being traded around this strike price. And if we look at the options right here, you're seeing an enormous amount of call options and also put options in the same way for people either betting against or for Palantir's price increasing in valuation. Now, nonetheless, Palantir does have a lot of momentum behind it. However, is a correction due to help get it more in a realistic fair price zone? It is important to know that Morningstar has recently rated Palantir as an $11 fair value stock price. Now, this is a highly reputable analyst business and basically platform, but with that, you have many analysts right now that are showing Palantir should be a hold. Now, the Zacks rating has actually changed Palantir recently to a buy with its earnings per share increase, and their proven model, what we talked about in yesterday's video, actually predicts that they will beat earnings again. But however, this is with speculation. Like I said, just because Palantir does beat earnings, we could possibly or see some small term growth in terms of buying pressure and momentum trading off of the hype, and kind of currently what we are seeing right now, over basically 3%, including the trading session and after hours. However, Palantir does have a big bar to set and a big bar to hold if it wants to hold that valuation going forward. And this is why lots of eyeballs will be looking at Palantir, not just in terms of what the Q3 earnings represents, but also what could be possibly happening in the future into 2024 guidance. That's really all I'm going to have for you guys. Interesting day. We'll be keeping you guys updated. Peace out. Catch out, and I'll catch you guys later.